Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Hey, Peter.
Bill.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay, but I think your mic is a bit hot. You're distorting when you're loud. Do you have volume control on it? Because I think you're hitting the red pin really hard.
Yeah, I just won't yell and scream like I normally do.
Okay, that's okay now. Yeah, I was like, oh boy. We like distortion in guitar playing. Not sure about voices.
You musicians, always worried about the sound.
Well, it's all about the sound.
I was talking to my buddy the other day, Mr. Steven. I was talking to him the other night, and he was telling me about this movie he was watching and how he was fascinated with all the clicking noises in the car and the sound in the car and the microphone. I'm like, oh, God. Musicians.
I saw an old movie yesterday. And it's an old cowboy, probably 1934, John Wayne. I was flicking through. I lasted 2 minutes. Okay, that's enough. But somebody to walk across the room and go,
yeah,
like somebody's like, wait a minute, take it easy there. Took a while to get that figured out, I guess.
All right, so we're at episode number 202. 202, Peter.
202. Where do the years go by? I mean, years.
Really. So, today's episode is called Three Unique and Easy Ways to Collect Paychecks in Real Estate That Realtors Overlook.
Really? Realtors overlook something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever thought, how come realtors don't buy or get involved in deals they're bringing investors? Have you ever thought that?
Oh, well, no, I don't want to tip your podcast, but there have been some conversations and some, boy, sure like to get into some of that there money.
Right.
But they don't, right?
No.
No, they don't. They talk about it.
I mean, they have this deal and they bring it to someone like you and me, and why wouldn't they buy it? Yeah. Like yesterday. Yeah, totally. Yeah. We're with the realtor yesterday, and that's exactly what happened, right?
But I have a feeling she might pull it off because she's gutsy.
Yeah. So they wouldn't, he threw me off here. So, I mean, they have this deal and they bring it to someone like you and me, and why wouldn't they buy it? Some do, but why not more of them? In fact, when I first started, I worried about this exact thing.
Really?
Only in my career, later in my career, I realized what I plan to cover in this exact podcast. More to the point, what are the 3 easiest ways to get the paycheck created by real estate activity? Get paychecks, right? And what is the shortest route to getting it so you can spend the money? Everybody, yeah. So it's kind of like, what is that rule? I forgot who talked about it. I forgot that. I'm going to be disservice here, but the rule about marketing, the guy comes into a hardware store and he's looking for a drill. What does he really want?
Oh, yeah. What does he really want?
The hole.
Yeah.
He doesn't want a drill. He wants the hole, right? So what do people really want in real estate? They want to spend the money. They don't want the money. They want to spend it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every time we look at a deal, I'm going like, well, then I can, all these ideas in your head. Honey, we're going on vacation.
If these are concerns of yours, and you're in the right spot, because this episode will give you a mini blueprint on how to fatten your bank account if you're willing to do a little work and use the material exactly, Peter. Use the material exactly how it is stated here. Not some other way, not the way you think it should be, not like some extra little bonus that you added or something like that, right?
You mean follow the instructions?
No, exactly follow the instructions.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is not some push-button business that will get you instant rewards, but if you go just a little bit further than that, you will be rewarded handsomely. This podcast are like my cliff notes of 16 plus years doing hundreds of deals and what I would do if I had to start over.
Yep.
Okay?
If you only knew.
If I only knew, that's right. Yeah, all that money and effort later, right?
Hindsight and all that stuff. Spilt milk. Yeah.
I've been watching, anyways, it doesn't matter. This show that I've been watching, they keep talking about Brady. What is his name? Tom Brady?
Oh, yeah.
He's laughing at the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like this big, he's like this big bucks paid guy, right?
Yeah. He just switched teams. What do you mean he switched teams? He wanted to switch teams. He wanted to go to Florida. He can't do that. Let him go. He can go whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants.
Hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever they pay him, and he's laughing at everybody. You want to know why? He just goes out and does the same shit over and over again. He practiced it so much. He's just like, that's like me writing a book and getting paid over and over and over again. It's like the hard work is done. All he has to do is just, keep up his practice, which is not easy, but just like, he's already learned it. He already knows it. It's like the hard work is done.
Yep.
Right? He's just like repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and get paid more money.
That's right.
All right. So back to real estate. Why don't realtors buy or get involved in the hot deals they bring you? That's how we're going to start. Truth? The real truth? Just a simple answer? They aren't trained to see these deals as hot.
Really?
Yep.
Aren't they looking, well, they're looking for the commission job-wise, but even when they do that, don't they have to they don't have to oh, this is a good one. This is a bad one. It doesn't matter, does it? They just, I'll be quiet because I'm sure you're getting to this point. But
no, you're fine. You're fine. So here's the point. If you go back to listen to episode number 90, right, which I had transcribed, I'm going to actually turn it into a book, right, dealing with the real estate mafia, right? And we talk about in there about what each person brings to the closing, and technically the realtor brings the buyer. But most people think a realtor is a consultant. They're going to hold your hand, through the little flowery pasture to get to the other side where the check is, right? No. The good realtors have done that, but that's after they had a lot of experience. No, you go to realtor school, and I know because I did it, and I just didn't take my test because I thought it was like, I won't tell you what I thought. So
I did that with insurance. 2 weekends, and this is stupid.
Yeah. So they teach you how to protect the deposit. That's what they teach you, right? So the core training is all around brokering a deal and not stealing or spending the deposit. Okay. Yeah. Before October of 1949, actually September, but really October, those 2 months, right? Because on September of 1949, the word realtor was trademarked, and then October of 1949. Before October of 1949, there wasn't a realtor code of ethics, and the Realtor Association to regulate this code of ethics. So in October 1949, the code of ethics was developed in the National Realtor Association actually developed. That was when it was formed, right? And realtors would take, so before this, the realtors would take deposits and would have to hold them until the deal went through, right?
Ooh, that's risky, huh?
Right.
That's tempting. Have a bunch of cash, have $1,000 in your account.
Right.
Don't spend it. Yeah, sure.
So most of the time, there was a lot of time between deals, right? And they would need to get paid, or they would need money to they would need money to live. So they would borrow, borrow.
Yeah, against the coming commission, right?
Right, that they know that they had.
Yeah, that they hope that they had.
No, they know they had this deal. They've convinced themselves this is a deal. It's going to close. It's a slam dunk.
They spent the money.
And I'll just, because I know that I would, I'm going to do this deal. So I'll just use, this money and just pay my rent. Right? And then the deal blows up.
Yep.
Okay. Most people don't know that, but that's the reason why realtors are where they are right now, because there was a code of ethics put in place, because prior to October 1949, they were considered charlatans. So why don't you tell us what a definition of charlatan is?
Well, that's somebody who's selling you a bill of goods, promising things, not delivering. To me, it's almost synonymous, this is just me, with a middleman. I don't like middlemen too much. I mean, you need them in some things, but sometimes like consumer and seller can work together, but somebody wants to get in the middle to get a commission. Sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you just get the hell out of the way. We don't need you, and lose a commission to you. Go get a real job.
They lost their purpose. Their purpose was to go find a buyer. Because back in the day, it used to be, Tom knew that Mary Jane wanted to sell her house, and she also knew that Betty Joe wanted to buy a house and wanted to live on that side of town. That's how it started, because they were small, inter-town or inter-city type people, right? Mm-hmm. But it grew, right? And it got bigger. So a charlatan, and I hope I'm saying that right, because it's spelled C-H, right?
Sounds right.
Charlatan, some people call it charlatan or charlatan, right?
Yeah.
The realtors before 1949 were considered or thought of like we think of used car salesmen in our society now.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, it was worse actually. Okay.
Wow.
So from what I read, I mean, obviously I wasn't there. I was born in 1963. All right. So, so they would borrow these deposits, right? And they would think that they had the deals. So 1949, they put this code in, right? Now, I couldn't resist this, Peter. I couldn't resist this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just read it because I wrote it that way. I have notes over here. That's what I keep looking down at. So if you're on Facebook wondering what I'm looking at, I'm looking at my notes. Which, by the way, I'm going to get Emma to get me a little stand. I just realized I should get a stand for this. So anyways, here we go. So this is like a big secret for realtors. They're like all prima donnas now. Like, oh, look at me, right? They think who they are, right? They think, oh, I'm a realtor. I drive a Mercedes, and right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how they are? I mean, how many realtors do we talk to? Right?
Most of them are. When we find one that isn't, it's like such a breath of fresh air. We hang on to them. We like those. They're like people. Bill, they're like people.
Exactly, right? So this secret of what they were back in the beginning is almost as obvious as this. Okay? And this secret is as big as a secret as the Republicans being an anti-slave party.
People aren't going to believe that.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Because I know you've got a bunch to say about this. And this is a big secret as the Republicans being an anti-slavery party, which was the reason they were formed in 1854, while Democrats supported slavery and later walked across the aisle and claimed they stopped it when in fact they did not. They created it and supported it and realized that they were losing in elections, and back in the 50s decided to walk across the aisle and say, oh, we're against slavery.
Yeah.
But it was the Republicans that were. And then they started slinging mud at the Republicans, saying, oh, look at the Republicans. They're anti-slavery. Or they're for slavery. We're anti... It was stupid.
I actually ran across that in a dictionary. I was looking up a word. It's not in every dictionary, because some dictionaries are just like basic. But this said exactly that. Formed in 1854 to oppose slavery. Specifically to do that.
Right.
So if you just Google it, research it, origins, it's there.
Right. I find it funny, you turn the TV on now and it's the Democrats always attacking the Republicans. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying Republicans are good, and I'm not saying any of them are good. But at the end of the day, it seems like when we have red states, they flourish and prosper. When we have blue states, they flourish and prosper, but the wrong way, with charities and overtaxation. And it's getting more and more obvious in today's society. I mean, the mudslinging is getting pretty bad. I mean, we're in the middle of a revolution as far as I'm concerned right now. You know, back in the, you know, is that what they call the revolution? You know, the North and the South when we're fighting one another, right? I think we're doing the same thing right now. Civil War. Yeah. All right. So let me explain what I'm talking about.
You and I know one thing, though, that people should know, just in general. When somebody's foaming at the mouth and throwing accusations, be very careful. That person is liable, very guilty of what they're saying. And if you look at your own friends and your own people who squawk, and you look, you know they do what they're accusing others of. You say it several times.
If I was President Trump, which I don't want to be, but if I was President Trump, I would say only my campaign would be this. And I would win. My campaign would be this. People accuse those of what they themselves are doing. Yeah. People accuse those of what they themselves are doing. If he said that every single day, the newscasters wouldn't have anything to talk about, because when Pelosi and now she's calling him fat on TV. You know what I mean? It's like, really? You know, she's 80 years old. Did you know she's 80 years old?
Well, no, she looks it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I didn't know she was 80 years old.
Sorry.
All right, so enough with the politics. So I'm going to do something, Peter, right now that I think, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for my listeners. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this for me because this cackles my heart. This like explains my life in the next couple minutes. This is through my goggles.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you this story, and then you probably already know this because I mentioned it before, but I kind of have this new passion in life. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to talk about this. Okay. So you ready?
Sure. Hey, Bill, it's your podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I got to have listeners. What's the sense in having a podcast if I don't have listeners, right?
Oh, well, if you really hit it hard, it'll be funny or interesting or something. It'll be like humorous. Hey,
right,
hey everybody, let's check out Bill's life. Go.
I want to give you an example of how this happens with these realtors. And it's not just realtors. It's a lot of our listeners. You don't have to be a realtor for this to happen.
Hey.
Let me explain. You go to the store and you purchase a pack of smokes. Yes, I said smokes because people still smoke cigarettes, okay? Or cigars. Hello?
Yeah.
Right? Or you buy a soda, or you buy a candy bar or a pack of gum or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
You give the cashier a $20 bill. Are you with me?
Sure.
Cashier gives you change, right? Do they or do not give you change? I mean, you buy you buy a candy bar, which used to be 25 cents for $1.85, and if you go into one of the convenience stores, you might pay $4.85.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but you're getting change, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now watch this. They're just coins and paper bills to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like your next purchase. Like I have this much left for my next purchase, right?
Sure.
You with me?
Yeah.
You don't give the money a second thought because you're not educated. Now, suppose you were educated as a coin collector.
Oh.
And you looked at every coin and you could find, in this particular day with the cashier lane, you could find something like this. One, these are in circulation right now, a no mint Roosevelt dime. They're in circulation. It's worth $300.
Holy crap.
Right? Would you notice that if you had it?
No. The only thing I ever paid attention to was the pennies with the wheat on the back. I figured they don't make those anymore. And I've been saving those for like 50 years. And I've got a bag someplace. I figure I'll give my great-great-great-grandson. It'll be worth lots of money.
Perfect example. That's like somebody saying in real estate you have to buy foreclosure property. Mm. That's like the wheat penny. It's like everybody knows if it's got wheat penny, it might be worth something.
Yep.
Now, how about this example? you get a 1999 P Connecticut broad-struck quarter.
Oh, right, the Connecticut. Yeah, broad-struck.
Broad-struck, right? It's the picture on the back.
What does broad-struck mean?
It's the picture on the back.
Oh.
Okay? It's worth $25. Would you know that?
Nah.
This is a 1999 quarter.
And I was around then.
How about this? A 2005 D 5C speared Bison Jefferson nickel. So it's got Jefferson's face in the front and it's got a bison in the back. It was made in 2005. It's in circulation right now. Okay, they're in circulation right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it worth?
$1,265.
$1,200. Excuse me.
$65.
I'll be right back. Holy crap.
Would you notice them?
No.
So this cashier gives you this money, right? Now, I don't do paper money. I'm interested. My interest lately is in coins. I've been buying coins. Don't ask me why. It's just something that like struck me like, oh, I'm going to do that as another hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to buy some gold or silver.
And I've been buying coins, just like you buy, right?
I have a stack. My dad saved a stack, a bag of silver dollars, the real ones from like 100 years ago, real silver. I can't find them, but they're someplace stashed in one of the houses. And I got a bunch of them. They're worth a little bit just because they're silver.
All right, so all of these are common coins still in circulation, but you did not know until I just told you what their value was, right?
Yeah.
Is this making sense?
Yeah, but what made you get up this morning and go look up all these coins to see which ones are valuable, really?
Real estate is the same way.
Yeah.
You drive by hundreds, maybe thousands of houses, probably daily or weekly. They're right under your nose.
Yep.
Just like those coins.
Yep.
Right? But you didn't even look, never mind noticed that you have a deal that you could have made bank on. It's right under your nose. It's right there. It's like right common knowledge in front of you.
But they look like all the other coins, huh?
Yeah.
Just another coin.
If you don't have an education to know which coin is worth whatever, like I just named for you, you would know. It just looks like a quarter. It's not a... it's not what I wrote here, a 1999-P. How would you know that, right? Connecticut broad-struck quarter. It looks like all the other quarters.
Yeah.
Okay? I get this a lot in coaching. This is what makes me talk about it. I get this a lot in coaching prospects. They're really coaching suspects, but I'll call them prospects for a lack of words, right? I get this a lot. People want to be in the coaching program. And I'm a little picky about that because I got a good coaching group. I got over 80 or 85% of my guys are doing business. So I don't want to infect my group with a knucklehead. So your education has nothing to do with it, but your intention and your motivation has a lot to do with it. Okay, so when I'm talking to people, I listen. But anyways, I talk to a lot of people about coaching because I do one-on-one consultations. In fact, I think if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, you can go /consult and you can get on my schedule and we can actually talk. Okay, people have done that. Or send us support.
Can you imagine that? Actually talking to Bill one-on-one.
It's pretty crazy because people are like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm like, why? I'm just a regular guy. Anyways, so I get, and it's not fun talking to me sometimes, Peter. You know that. I mean, I'm just like,
You've gotten better. You've been very nice to me lately. I appreciate it. Hey, Bill, sometimes we're at the meetups, like when we used to be live. Remember those days?
Yeah.
And somebody will walk in that may come from a different state or farther away, but listen to the podcast. One girl walked in when they goes, before she didn't see the video, so she didn't know what we looked like. She walks in, I'm talking, she goes, "Are you Pete the Rookie?" I was like, I was embarrassed. Like, yes. What do you? No.
Yeah, exactly.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I get this a lot from these prospects, which I call suspects, but I don't want to hurt their feelings today, so I'll encode them by calling them, encode the language so that we'll call them prospects, right?
Bill, I think it's too late.
And that's my point. So they tell me they're going to make a deal and then hire me for coaching. Right?
Yeah.
But wouldn't know a deal if it was staring them in the face.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why they need someone like me who can see if the deal is a deal and be able to make it happen. I mean, you do it. You bring me every deal. Why? What do you say to me all the time? You told it in front of the realtor like 3 times yesterday. Sometimes Bill could see deals that I don't know where they are. Why? Just experience. I'm not smart. I'm not like, I just did a lot of deals.
Yeah, you can see through
I remember
it.
a lot of things, right?
You know, as long as it's kind of close enough, you know, I'm going to be I'm a little pre-screening. I let you do the final filtering.
Yeah. Now, but it's taken us 4 years to get that way.
I've done it for like, oh, that's no good. And you go, whoa, reel that back in. Show me that. Because you know, why would I say no to something unless it's obvious?
Right. So they're losing deals they don't even know they have. This is no different than that 2005 quarter sneaking through your palms worth $1,265 and you didn't know it. Right? I mean, it's like right there in front of you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? So, like we say, Peter, you don't know what you don't know.
But you don't know that either.
You don't know it.
Yeah.
Right? All right, let's move on. Is my point made? So this is why realtors don't make deals. But I use realtors as an example, but it's really everybody listening to us. How many quarters, dimes, and pennies, nickels, dimes, and pennies, have gone through your palm of your hand right now without knowing it?
All of them?
I'll tell you something. You know what I've been buying? I've been buying silver dollars.
Yeah.
And I've been buying some quarters. I bought some quarters too. You want to know why?
Well,
The United States government says that you can change the mint or change the design of a coin once every 25 years.
why does it seem like they do it more often than that?
I don't know.
Yeah, because all those quarters and... Oh, yeah, okay. Anyways.
In 2021, the silver dollars are getting their design changed.
Oh.
So I was thinking, what do I do? Do I buy the 2019 coins? I'm sorry, the 2020 coins because they're changing in 21.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been buying some of those. I'm waiting for the new mint to come out.
How do you buy those? Can you get them just from the bank?
No, I got a couple of websites I've been buying them off of.
Okay.
So, what you don't know is that there's only 4 mints, four places in the United States that make coins. There's a place in Denver, one in San Francisco, one in West Point, and one in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Philadelphia is the small mint. So when they have a small run to make, or they're like short on something, or they want to do something like unusual, they send it to Philadelphia. So a lot of coins that come out of Philadelphia are collector's items.
Yeah, if it's less, it's already more rare, so that's
Right.
a chance that it could be valuable.
Right. And these are just little things that I've just learned recently. So my point is that just like I'm learning that with the coins, most listeners are that way with me with real estate, right? So what is a rent to own? I mean, how many times I get, even last night, I get questions like, where do you find deals? Well, they're right under your nose.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Question is, which ones do you recognize as deals and which ones don't you?
Yep.
Right? Or I get this question, how do you buy without any money down? Answer, don't buy. Well, what do you mean? Well, why don't you just rent something and then sublease it and get in the middle? Like Nelson Rockefeller said in the early 1900s, don't own anything, control everything. Right?
That's right.
Who says that you have to buy real estate to make money? Who made that rule up?
Well, most people think you have to have money to do things. But the truth is, you have to do things to get money.
Okay, so you are correct. The word investor means I have dough and I want to make it grow.
Right.
That's what the word investor means.
So when we start out, we're not investors because a lot of us start out because we don't have any money. We're trying to get some. So what are we?
Right. So you're professional home buyers.
Aha. And when we get good, we'll be a deal maker.
That's right. You don't have to be good. I can't say it enough times. How do you not lose money in real estate?
Boom. Don't put any in.
Don't put any in. So how do you do that? Well, you do a rent to own.
Yeah.
So you go ask your we got Patricia. She's on Facebook with us, is sending me notes. So anyways, so the best way to like not lose money in real estate is to don't put any money in.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Well, who says you got to own the property? I have several multifamily houses right now that I completely control, completely manage. I get all the rents, I get all the profits, I get everything. I have all the responsibilities as if I owned it. But I don't. Oh yeah, by the way, Pete, I was with my accountant the other day.
Yeah.
And he's shaking his head. You know him because you gave me his name.
Yeah.
He's shaking his
was
head.
he surprised how you're doing it?
Yeah. He's like, you did what? He's like, he had to go look up a tax code.
Really?
Yep. He had to go to the books and look up a tax code. You want to know why?
Uh-huh.
Because
He never did it before then?
No, because I do rent to owns, because I have multifamilies that I didn't buy. I have a rent to own, and he's trying to figure out what I got to pay for taxes.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't have to. Because I don't own them.
It's crazy. Well, hey, Bill, was he impressed?
Yep. Well, he's not the guy that says, he's not the type of guy that says he's impressed, but I could tell he was impressed.
No, I know Dave.
Yeah.
He'll do that, and he'll smile. He'll give a little smile and like, you go, wow. Shake his
I
head
figured something out with him. I figured out he must be impressed. You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I walk in his office, he tells me sit down, and I spend an hour with him. Completely lets me interrupt his day.
I told you he was a good guy. You guys are going to get along just fine.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on, okay?
Yep.
How can we get quick paychecks and notice the deals that are hidden in plain sight?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, just like the coin analogy, I'm going to point out what to look for. So the first thing we can do, because there's three ways, the first thing we can do, or the first place. Now realize, going off script here, if you want to get a jellyfish, where do you go?
To the jellyfish store. No, to the ocean.
Okay, so can I go to Lake Poketipog in East Hampton and get a jellyfish?
Not in a pond. No, is there?
Why not?
Isn't it just salt water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So make sure I didn't miss something there. Yeah, salt water.
Right. So if I want to fly 30,000 feet above Earth, what do I got to do?
You better get yourself a pretty good plane or maybe a jet to get that high.
Okay, so here's my point, is you can't go 30,000 feet in the air without a plane.
Mm.
If you're looking for a jellyfish, you have to go where the jellyfish lives. Right?
Sure.
So here's what I do. This is what I do. This is a complete side note, okay? This is like my entire life. Now, you know me, Peter, really well. And when I get done telling you this, you tell me the truth whether you think this is me or not.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I have a choice, and I figured this out at age 35. You need to get attention. People need to know what you do.
Right.
Okay? So if I buy houses, I got to tell people I buy houses. You need to get attention.
You know, I've read that that's the first rule in making money: get attention.
For
Whatever you're
survival
doing,
attention.
If nobody sees, and there's people that don't like attention. I don't like to be talked to. I don't talk to anybody. I delete everything. Wrong direction, buddy.
Okay, so my choice is this. I could I could stand in the middle of the ocean and jump up and down and make waves, or try to make waves. How much do you think that's going to affect the ocean?
Drop in the bucket.
Or I can go out front of my house and jump up and down in a puddle.
Yeah, bigger fish, smaller pond.
Right? So what do is I go look for them small ponds. Right? So if I'm going to jump up and down in a puddle, right, I'll be noticed, right?
Yeah.
I'll be the big fish in that puddle, right?
Yep.
So I break it down to, okay, so which puddle do I got to be in? So the first puddle I'm going to want to be in is the for sale by owner arena. Okay? So how many for sale by owner signs have our listeners driven by or seen and didn't do anything about them? This is like getting the quarters in the convenience store. Did you actually look at them and see if they were worth anything?
Right. You said something, we were taking a drive a year or two ago, and you said something like you notice what you have your attention on. So as we went down the street, I noticed a music shop. You went further, like into kind of the country, you look, a boat launch.
Right.
Because you want to launch a boat and I wanted to buy a guitar. I didn't see the boat launch, you didn't see the guitar shop.
Right.
So I know exactly what you mean. There's a house for sale by owner I pass by every day, and some people that I know don't see it at all, and I notice it, and I actually walked it the other day. I thought it was vacant, somebody was there. But if you're looking for that, you should be noticing that. It should jump out at you, like, there it is.
So you see a house, so that's one thing to see the sign house for sale by owner.
Yeah.
Did you text them or call them?
Not yet.
Why not?
Want the real answer?
Yeah.
Because we haven't worked through the system to send the offers out yet. That's the next phase we're going to. So I want to have the offer thing ready after I talk to them.
Oh, so you have to have before you can do.
Well, I didn't want to do the call, then wait a week to send the offer. I just want to be ready to do that. Just the next step.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Also, this one was a little weird. It had a realtor. I've looked it up before. It had a realtor number on it too, a company and a guy. So it was kind of weird. It looked like it was a realtor and a for sale. It was a little weird, but it's something I'll check soon.
All right. So we're going to cover that in a minute. Okay.
I shouldn't have said anything.
No. You're totally fine because that's perfect. That's what I want to talk about, right? Okay. So if you don't, I don't want you driving around looking for signs. There's an easier way to do it. Go online. Go to Zillow. There's tons of them on Zillow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
In fact, if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/virtual, VIRTUAL, virtual, there's a video there you can watch. It's a 42-minute video, and I show you exactly how to do this. So I'm not going to cover that now. Episode number 196, we covered the entire thing. So if you want to know how to find property or find real estate online and how to make offers, either go to flippinghousesforrookies.com virtual and watch the video, or go to episode number 196. Okay?
Yep.
And it'll show you how to do it. So you need to communicate to these sellers. Right?
Yep.
Also, if you go to the virtual thing, which is what I was going to tell you about, is you can, I allow you, and I mean this, I really mean this, sounds arrogant, but it's not, because it's true, okay? I allow you to steal my offer calculator, my letter of intent template, my scripts, and my one-page lease option form for $37. So like you said, you want to make an offer to this person, you spend $37 once, you get these tools, and you make 3 offers and send them out. You either send them out by email, you send them out by snail mail, whatever, for $37. There's no way you can't make a deal from this 42-minute video and these documents. Just no way.
Yeah.
Okay? And I did this to help during the pandemic or the coronavirus, because there were so many people that felt like they were, so many folks without a paycheck. I can't give out unemployment, and I didn't want to write checks to people, so it's like, because I thought about it, but I decided this is my way that I gave back. And now that the virus is almost over, not that it's over, but we're starting to go back to regular business, I'm going to keep that up because it helped so many people. I can't tell you the amount of people that I helped during the virus with this video. It was actually incredible.
Well, you know, the best thing to me of you doing that, there were a lot of people that were home because I talked to them. Some of my family, some friends that I know, they got nothing to do.
Right.
They're sitting there unproductive, and that is demoralizing.
Right.
So just to have something to do that has got so much promise, just that is fabulous.
Well, production is the basis of morale, so obviously morale was down if you didn't have nothing to do.
That's right.
I didn't have that problem. I had just the opposite problem. But honestly, you could go on to Zillow, okay, or you can go on to any one of those for sale by owner sites. We use My Plus Leads. Go on there. I pay $29 a month for that, and all the leads I want, all the leads I can get are on there. Just type in for sale by owner sites, and you'll find them.
Yep.
Okay. Point is that I'm not going to teach this all over again because I did it already in episode number 196, which is an hour and 48-minute podcast. Okay. I know because we're transcribing it right now, and I'm going to turn it into a book. Okay. So the point is this. It is easy. You could make deals from your desk and never leave your office and make $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. We show you how to do that. You and I do that.
Yeah.
Right? It's a video that is there's no realtor doing this. It's off their radar. They don't even in fact, I did my live meetup last night, virtually, which was amazing. Amazing. They keep getting better and better. I think they can't get any better, and they get freaking better. I mean, just the way I lay it out on the whiteboard, having a whiteboard and doing it, and the way I lay out the math. Matter of fact, I know you weren't able to watch it. You should watch it because the way I lay out the math and the strategy of how I find these numbers is just, I even impress myself, and I do it. And I'm not even being, I feel like I'm being pompous or something. It just comes out because there's like 50 or 60 people on this call, and I'm talking to everybody, and it's like, okay, give me the numbers. And I extract a deal right out of the audience, and I'm like, okay, what is this number? What is it worth? What do they owe? And I go down the list, and I write it down, and then I take those numbers, and I start plugging them into formulas. And when we're all done, we come down to one or two things that we have to make a decision on, and that's the offer. I mean, it just works by itself, right? All you got to do is just know what we do, right? So anyways, all that can be eliminated with this offer calculator. You just put in 5 or 6 comparables. You go to Zillow and see what it's worth. You go to ePraiser, you go to Trulia, you go to RealQuest, whatever the websites are, and you look and say what that site says it's worth. You put them in the spreadsheet, and it automatically calculates for you. It's as if I'm sitting in your office at a desk calculating your deals for you. And then, the template we use for making offers, the letter of intent, is as if I were writing them myself. So how could you go wrong?
Yeah.
Right? So
well, you haven't. It's not dangerous either because you haven't bought anything. You're
Right.
sending offers over, virtually,
Right.
which is more prominent now because of the situation. People are trying to buy houses virtually before they pull the trigger, looking at it online. So this fits in right in with that. Oddly enough, it made it more credible in a way.
And if you haven't caught on by now, the way that we're talking about making a lot of money right now is by doing rent-to-owns. It's not by buying flips. It's not by getting hard money. You could do all that. Just be careful because the market might change. The market is very volatile right now. Yep. But if you can rent a property from an owner and then sublease it and get a deposit now, right? And I'm talking about renting without being a landlord. I'm not talking about typical renting. I'm talking about renting without being a landlord. This tenant buyer fixes the property. They do all the work. They shovel the driveways and cut the grass. They take out the garbage. They do everything. All you are is an intermediate bank because of the way you did this paperwork.
Right, and if anybody's thinking, well, why doesn't the seller do it himself? They don't know how to do this.
Right.
They wind up just being the landlord, and they don't want to.
Right.
They don't know how to find the person, put the deal together, the lease, the option. They don't know how it works.
So the worst thing in the world for real estate investors is a one-night stand. Seriously. Those are the guys that have a good job, $150,000 a year job, and they decide that they want to take some excess cash and buy a 2-family house. And they're going to manage it on the weekends.
Yeah.
That's the guy that bitches about the toilet that's overrunning. First of all, he's got 1 or 2 tenants or 4 tenants, right? He doesn't have many tenants. It's not a business for him. It's a by the way thing for him. And it's annoying for him because he's out with his family on Sunday afternoon having a birthday party for his 3-year-old kid, and the toilet overflows. He doesn't have a maintenance guy to go take care of it, or he can't just make a phone call or send a text and say, could you take care of this for me? No, he's got to go do it. Right? That's not the way you do it. He did not train his tenants when they moved in there, the rules and regulations and what to do and what not to do. Here's something that you and I do that we don't talk about much. In fact, I've been just talking about this past week for whatever reason. Somebody gives you a notice on a piece of property, right? Like a tenant says, I want to leave in 30 days.
Yep.
It's this argument like, okay, who's going to get the deposit and who's not going to get the deposit?
Yep.
As soon as somebody gives us a notice, you and I a notice, we have a checklist that we give the tenant and say, if you want to get your deposit back, you'll do these things. And hand them a checklist when they give you their notice. And they got 30 days to comply to that checklist to get their deposit back. And if they do all the things on the checklist, right, they get their deposit back. If they miss one, they miss a portion of their deposit because you got to go fix it. Yeah. Whoever thought of that? Right? So here's my point. That weekend warrior is not going to do that. So he gives landlording a bad name. It's really not that bad if you do it right. I mean, it's work, but if you do it right, if you train your tenants, and you went through this because we just bought a 3-family, and you thought I was being a hard ass in the beginning, and you were trying to be a little bit soft, and where are we now? Right?
I wasn't even trying to. I didn't realize they'd be that difficult or that thick-headed or whatever to not go along. So, but it's much easier. And they had been badly trained by the previous guys, so we were going into that. When you get a new person and you train them right, that's much easier.
So, not to bring this into it, and it's probably a bad analogy, but I'm the only boy. There's 3 kids. I'm the only boy, and I'm the oldest. My father had the mentality of he would whack me first and then ask questions. So I'd be knocked on my ass, looking up at him, and then if he felt like it, he'd ask me what the hell's going on. If he didn't, he would walk away. Okay? Not a good analogy, but that's how I treat my tenants. It's like I assume that they're just going to do the worst until they can prove themselves after 6 months, 3-6 months. And I'm not a hard ass on them. I'm not going to whack them like that, but I'm going to just assume that they're going to take the low road every time.
Well, it's like well, you said like children, and it's true. Like a kid will get away with what they can. My dog will get away with it whatever it can. It barks until somebody gives it a treat. It barks until somebody gives it a treat.
Peter, I got news for you.
You do?
Yeah, you've been married 500 years. Your wife does the same thing.
I know. She barks. Hey, Bill, don't rub it in. My anniversary's next week.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make it a nice day.
All right. So now the second thing, the next thing, okay? Time is here. Okay. Call for rent ads. Now, if you're driving, if you're somewhere listening to this podcast, you need to stop right now and get a paper and pencil because I'm going to give you a list of places you can go to find for rent houses for rent. I'm going to give you a bunch of websites. Okay? So if you can't stop right now and get paper and pencil, you better come back to this portion of the video, which is about, I don't know where we are, the timestamp, but it's somewhere about an hour in. And you should listen again. You ready?
52 minutes, Bill.
52 minutes. Here we go. Rent.com. Classifiedads.com. Doorsteps.com. Hotpads.com. Zumper.com. That's ZUNPER.com. Homefinder.com. That's a paid service, but it's a good one. Homesforrent.ws.
Oh, homes for rent. I'm writing these down. Homes for rent dot what?
WS.
WS. Wow, I haven't seen that one.
ForRentByOwner.com. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 websites that you can go to. And there are more. I just kind of weeded them out. Now, realize this. If you go to these websites, they probably have a property manager that put that ad up there. So a majority of them are going to be the property manager, which is fine in the beginning because this is what else do you got to do, right? So what you would do is you would just get on the phone and you would ask the person who often is a realtor, ask them if the owner would consider a rent to own. Okay?
Yeah.
If they hesitate at all, you just say, well, can I send you some offers for him to look at or for her to look at? Okay? Even if it's a realtor, you do this. Then you use my $37 package I was just talking about, and I'm sorry to make you pay $37, but I'm not giving it away for free because it's literally worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I mean, a one-page lease option document, how much do you think that's worth? How much do you think the offer calculator is worth? You plug in 5 numbers and it makes 3 offers for you as if it was me? Come on. $37, you're stealing it from me.
Worse than that, though, if people get something for free, they don't think it's valuable, they won't bother.
Exactly.
You know, that's the real thing. I can't give musical lessons away free. People don't show up. I actually did. I had a student. The parents had trouble because of the pandemic and all that stuff. And she was a good kid. She won the local contest, beat 37 other kids in 3 towns on an online talent show. And I felt bad the kid had lost lessons. I sent her a scholarship for a month.
Yeah.
She said thank you and I haven't heard from her.
Yep. Yep. All right, so you pay $37. You get the calculator. You get the letter of intent template. That all you got to do is just plug in your numbers and your name, and it's like me making an offer for you, making 3 offers for you, okay? And you get the one-page lease option agreement for $37.
Yeah.
Okay? So you go and you ask this person from one of these websites, you just go on there and you find them and you call them and say, would the owner consider doing a rent-to-own? And any little bit of a bleep, you say, how about if I send you some offers and you take a look at it and let me know?
So
and you send this letter of intent package, which is 8 pages, to them.
Yeah. So question, what attitude does the management realtor have? Is he going to lose if this goes through? Is he in favor of it? Or he's like, oh, crap, I'm going to lose a deal or a management property? Where does he sit on this?
Sometimes they'll send you their junk. Like the property manager will be like, you should get rid of this, right?
Yeah, he's going to offload his crap to you. Okay.
Right. So here's the thing. What is really beautiful about this is even if you send it to a realtor, they're going to get paid. You know, a lot of people think they're going to get paid the 6% or the 5%. No, if they do a rental property or a lease for them, for the owner, right? Then what's going to happen is the owner is going to pay the realtor 1 month's rent.
Right.
So it costs the owner, say they rented for $1,500. It's going to cost the owner $1,500 to find you.
Yep.
So what I do is something a little bit different because I'm a little bit more involved. We use a service called PropStream, which is a paid service. And if you go to Flipping Houses for Rookies /PropStream, PropStream, STREAM. Okay, PropStream, you can see what it is. We go on to PropStream, find out who the owner is, and we mail our letter of intent to the realtor and the owner.
Oh, okay. The way if the realtor cuts you out, it still gets to the owner.
Well, we're not going to cut the realtor out when we
if he
do the
cuts you
deal.
out, like if he doesn't forward it to the owner, just in case he doesn't do it.
If the realtor has an opinion like, no, I'm not going to send it, which is against the law, by the way, but people do it. Who's going to know unless somebody prosecutes, right?
Unless somebody sends a copy to the owner.
Right, which is why we do that.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to use PropStream, you can just go to your city website and find the tax record and just find out where the mailing address of the tax bill goes and just mail it there.
Yeah.
But that's a little cumbersome. Yeah, that's a little cumbersome, unless some cities aren't online. If they're not online, then go down to the city hall, to the tax assessor's office, and just look up the property and find out where the tax bill is mailed. Mm-hmm. And just mail the offer to them. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, here's the thing. A percentage of your offers are just going to fall to the wayside. Right? What's the matter?
Well, yeah. No, I'm just looking for something. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not going to get every deal, but what did it cost you to do it?
Right. And that's what my point is. So it only takes. If you dilly-dally, it take you 30 minutes. That's searching for the property. That's making the phone call. Drafting this template that I'm talking about. This offer template, which is 8 pages long. Right. Mm-hmm. Which is all done for you. All you have to do is put your name in it and the numbers that the calculator gives you, and you're done. It literally takes 5 minutes to put a letter of intent together this way because of the templates.
Yep.
And you mail it. You put it in an envelope and you mail it. 4 or 5 days later, you call them up and say, hey, what'd you think of my offers? And they're like, well, about this sandwich lease option transfer, how does that work? And you're right into talking turkey. You don't have to be like me to do this. You don't have to worry about converting them or having all this sales talk, nothing. Literally, Peter, a 14-year-old kid could do this. Literally, no offense, but to 14-year-old kids, but it could be that way.
Yep.
It's not hard, okay? So the point is this. I say this all the time, but today I'm going to put a stake in the ground. Outflow, outflow, outflow. You have to beget deals. The only way you beget deals is to talk to new sellers. Okay?
Yep. That's
very true. You could outflow. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it better to outflow to a specific, like this is like being in the ocean and being in the puddle.
Yeah.
Being in the ocean, like I'm outflowing and I'm splashing around, but does it make a difference?
Yeah.
But I'm in the puddle, outflowing, jumping around, splashing around, does it make a difference?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yes, it does. Because what most people don't realize is 60% of your deal is who you're talking to find the deal.
Yeah, finding the right person then.
Right.
Okay.
20% is the offer you give them, and 20% is how you talk to them.
Sure.
60% is talking to the right person.
Yeah.
Picking the congregation that person's in. Right? If I walked into the Christian church down here in the corner and started talking Judaism, what do you think would happen? You see what I'm saying?
Wrong testament.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So are we going to have agreement?
Not really.
Are they going to like me?
Nah.
So how's the communication going to continue if we can't agree and they don't like me? Are they going to want to listen to me?
Yeah, it's pretty quick over there.
Right? So we need to be in places where people agree with what we're doing or have a high probability of agreeing with what we're doing and like us. So why not go to rent sites, people where they're trying to rent a property? They probably never thought that they could just rent it to own. They had no idea. I was on one of those sites and I saw 2 deals. As soon as I get done with you, I'm going to send to my VA and say, call these people. One of them's in Hamden. $1,149 a month. They want to rent their house, and there's a picture of the house. It's a nice looking little cape.
How'd you run across that one?
What's that?
How'd you run across it?
I didn't. I went looking for it.
Oh, okay.
It was on rents.com.
Yeah.
Okay? So my point is that you can jump around in the ocean and try to get attention, with splashing and try to change the ocean's water, right? Like make the tide happen, which isn't going to happen. Or you can get into a puddle and make it happen in a puddle. So by going on rent sites, they're already renting the property. They're already expecting to get monthly payments. So why not go there and look? Half the job is done for you. You don't have to call it for sale by owner up and say, I don't want to give you $200,000. I want to give you $1,500 a month. If you're not good at that, don't do it. Just go to where the guy's already asking $1,500 a month and say, will you rent for $1,500 and do rent to own? And a small percentage will say yes. But the work is done for you. The work is out. You don't have to go do this salesmanship stuff. If calling people in sales and all these things we talk about bothers you, then just do that one tactic.
Right, because he's already renting, but he must have in the back of his mind, someday I will sell it. If he likes making the money, it might be later down the road. But if at some point he starts to get tired or he starts to get old and doesn't want to do it anymore, and the idea of having an exit strategy, I've talked to people that they like the money and they don't want to give that up. So, well, how about we do that a couple more years and then you end? Okay, because that's kind of in their ballpark at some point.
Let me ask you this question. How many people have we run into when we're out in the houses where they became an accidental landlord? Which means they wanted to sell the property, the realtor couldn't do it for them because something like the coronavirus came along, right? Yeah. And they couldn't do it, and they ended up having an opportunity to buy another house or move somewhere else. How many times have we heard, my mom and dad were sick, so I went and lived with them. You did it, right? Yeah. How many times have we heard, I had a job transfer and I had to go, right? All these things, right? And they're like, but I can't afford the $1,300 a month and be where I am, so I rented it.
Yeah. But then
accidental landlord.
The toilets, the fixing, and the responsibilities, which people don't usually like doing because they're not professional at it.
Right, because they got that onesies and twosies. They're a one-night stand then. They're a one-night stand. And this is a, by the way, annoying thing for them because the tenant calls them up when they're living their life and they're not, all they want is their money. Right? In this case, all they want is the money to pay the mortgage so they don't have to pay it. That's all they want. Right? So we come along and say, well, you do rent to own? Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, where you been? I wish you were around 4 years ago. Right? Because once they do it for the first tenant, then it's like, well, the tenant leaves, they're already in that habit. They're going to I got to rent it again. They don't go back a year later and say, I'm going to try to sell it. They don't do that. They just keep renting it.
Yeah, it didn't work the first time, so why bother?
Right. Make sense?
Sure.
Number 3. I'm going to cover this briefly, but I'm going to tell you for 12 plus years, this is how I got leads before we did for sale by owners, which Peter brought to the table, by the way. Contact out-of-area owners. And I use yellow see this paper, we call this yellow paper, handwritten, just like that. Okay, I'm showing it on the Facebook page. It's legal paper, yellow legal paper, and we handwrite letters. Okay? So here's what I do. I go to the city hall, okay? And I ask them for some of them call it a grand list. Some of them call it a
tax roll.
What's the other word they use?
A tax roll.
Tax roll. Thank you. Grand list or tax roll. Okay. Let me get into my notes here. And what we do is we actually get it in an Excel spreadsheet and we sort the zip codes that are out of area. So when you get a tax roll or a grand list, it's going to have 2 addresses on there. It's going to have one address for the location of the property, and then it's going to have one address for the mailing of the tax bill, where they mail the tax bill. And if those two addresses don't match, then you have an out-of-area owner. Okay, so what I do is I go into the Excel spreadsheet and I go to the column where the zip code is for the mailing address. And my zip code is 06492, which is Wallingford, Connecticut, right?
Right.
I put in 06492 and I either ascend or descend. I push them up or I push them down on the Excel spreadsheet, so I know that they're all in one spot. Okay? The ones that are not 0692 will either go to the top of the spreadsheet or the bottom of the spreadsheet when I sort it. And you can go on YouTube and figure this out, or you can get my yellow letter course at flippinghousesforrookies.com/courses, or just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com and just go to the top of the page and it says courses, and there's a course called Yellow Letters. Okay? And it teaches you how to do all this. All right? It teaches you how to write the letters, how to get the calls. It teaches you everything. Okay? Or you could just do what I'm telling you and just kind of figure it out, make your mistakes, and you'll make more mistakes than the course will cost you. I promise you that. So the point that I'm trying to make is you get all these addresses. So you go to the city hall, you get the grand list in an Excel spreadsheet, you go to where the tax bills are made. I put in the zip code of my town. And if you have multiple zip codes, you got to do it a few times. And it ascends or descends the zip codes that don't match your zip code. Those are your out-of-area owners. Okay? Once you have that list, you then send them a letter that says pretty much this. And you use your name, not mine. Hi, my name is Bill Hawthorne. I would like to buy your house at, whatever the address is, 123 Main Street. Please give me a call and my phone number. And then I sign it, Bill. That's it. Don't do anything else. Don't do anything more, because if you do, you'll distract the whole mailing campaign. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I use, for a phone service, because that's one of the questions I'll get, I'm going to give you a list of them. This is another thing where I'm going to give you a bunch of websites that you could use and go do your shopping and figure out what you want to do, because you're going to have a phone number, and you're probably not going to want to give your home phone number or your cell phone number or anything like that. So you could use one of these. We use Freedom Voice. FreedomVoice.com. It's $9 and change, or $10 a month for a free recorded, for a message that has a mailbox, so you could do a recording. Hi, my name is Bill. Thanks for calling me. I'll give you a call back as soon as I can. Oh yeah, by the way, if you have a piece of real estate for sale, please leave me the address. And make sure you say it twice so it's clear and I can understand it. Something like that. Right? So we use freedomvoice.com. That's a paid service, $9 a month. Hostednumbers.com is another one. Hosted Numbers is really cool because you can pay the $14 or whatever it is, or $19. I think it's $14. And then if you have multiple marketing campaigns, like you have, business cards, or you're going to do some other type of, you want to do signs. Hosted Numbers is good because for $5 you can buy another phone number, but they all go back to the same voicemail. And I used to use this when I was doing consulting for marketing, because one of the things that I found out is that if you track, because people don't track their marketing, like, does it work? And this works really good because Hosted Numbers, you pay your $15 or your $20 or whatever it is upfront for the mailbox and one phone number, and then you pay $5 for the second phone number and $5 for the third phone number. And now each marketing campaign has its own phone number, and you can actually staticize which marketing campaign is working and which one's not. And whenever I used to go into a business, I would do this. This is the first thing I would do in the marketing is I would break up their marketing with the phone numbers. And I always found one for one, and I'm talking about hundreds of clients, one for one, I would always find that the marketing campaign that the owner liked the most, his pet campaign, was the worst performer. Every time. It was 100% of the time. It was seldom, less than 1% that the owner was correct. And they would always be, oh my God, I didn't know that. And the ad that they hated the most was the highest performer, usually. the point that we did that is because we would then take, suppose the guy was spending, $1,000 a month on marketing, right? We would then take that $1,000 and pour it to stop doing all the marketing campaigns that didn't work and pour all the money into the marketing campaigns that did work. Okay? Now, you listeners don't have to do any of that because I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of marketing, and I'm here on this podcast for free telling you what I learned. I'm like your research and development department right now. You don't have to go figure this out. I'm already telling you, if I started over, this is what I would do. If I was you in your shoes and didn't know anything about real estate, this is exactly what I would do.
Yeah, well, that's the first thing I did when I first contacted you several years ago. And within 10 days, people were calling me.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
All right, good. So let's keep going. So the websites are freedomvoice.com, hostednumbers.com. If you want to use your cell phone, you can use line 2, and it's the number 2. Line 2 for your cell phone. So it's line2.com. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can use, you ready for this, Peter?
Yeah.
Dingtone. D-I-N-G tone.com. That's free. You can use free.
Is that also for your cell phone?
Yeah. So these are all for your cell phone. So you can get an extra phone line on your cell phone, a business line on your cell phone.
And
right?
when it rings in, you can tell it's that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's separate.
Yeah, so you can, when it comes in, you know it's that, so you switch gears in your head for a, okay, good.
Yeah. Or just let it go to voicemail.
Yeah.
So line 2, ding tone, free tone is another one, or of course you got Google Voice. I've heard a lot of yucky things about Google Voice. It works for a while, but then it kind of self-destructs.
Huh.
So Google Voice is not the best one. So that's why we use the other ones, okay?
Okay.
Now, when you get these calls that come in, because you're going to get calls, right? Because you're sending out letters, you're going to get calls. Let them go to voicemail. Don't answer them. Because you're never prepared. Yeah. Never prepared. So you call them back once you're ready. And here's what I mean by getting ready. First thing you do is you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff and download the prospect suspect form. It's a 3-page document nowadays. I'll tell you why in a minute. That 1-page document gets all the information you need to structure this deal and make this deal. It gets everything on one piece of paper. And if you just go through and ask the questions in the order that we've put them, it's as if you had a script. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Does it have a garage? Is it, all that stuff, right? Does it need repairs? A lot of times we like to do something with the financing. Do you have a mortgage? Things like that. Okay? You just go through the questions and you will have all the answers, right? With this prospect suspect form. And it's yours for free. Just go get it. Okay? Also, there's a checklist, a 1-page checklist that you can check off on whether or not this is a prospect or a suspect. You just answer the questions, check it off, answer the questions, check it off, and when you're all done, it tells you I have a prospect or I have a suspect. Mm-hmm. Also, the 3rd page are about 25 questions that I give to you that I found to be the most successful questions to elicit more information on the deal. Okay? All for free. Yeah. Where are they getting that, Peter? Okay?
They're not, Bill.
So you put this mail out, okay, and you get the mail back. Okay, so what happens is I use ChristyKing.com. She's called the Yellow Letter Lady. If you just type in Yellow Letter Lady in Google, or Crystal King, right? Christy King.
Yeah.
She's actually Ron LeGrand's Yellow Letter Lady. She does yellow letters for Ron LeGrand. You can pay, what is it? I should check it out. Let me go look. I think it's 64 cents. Let me look. I'm going to type into...
Yeah, because what will happen is if you do that yourself, you have to take into consideration... all I got to plug my computer in. You got to take into consideration, what it costs you to buy paper,
Right.
pens, envelopes, all that stuff,
Right.
and compared to what this number is going to be done, and your time and effort.
Right.
And this number is done for you.
So she changed her front page. So let me see here. Yeah, so I think it's cost me 64 cents per letter.
Yeah.
That's without the stamp.
Right. So she sends it to you, and you put the stamps on when you're ready to put them out.
Yeah, but 64 cents is they're printed, the letters are printed, the envelopes are printed, they're folded and stuffed. I think it's like 40-something cents if you want to stuff them yourself. But to your point, Peter, honestly, it's the difference of like a nickel a letter for you to do them or for her to do them. It's not worth you trying to do this on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night while you're watching TV. It's not worth it. And she has no like, I mean, I think her minimum order is 100. I don't even know if there's a minimum order. I've never tried.
Yeah.
But you can order as many or as little as you want. You send her a list in an Excel spreadsheet, which you can get. You can go find a list. You can make the list yourself. Like I said, like we do. We make the list ourselves from the town hall. Or you can go to PropStream does it. If you have PropStream, they'll make a list for out-of-area owners. You can go to listsource.com. You can go to melissadata.com. But I have found when I buy those lists, my success rate is not as good. When I make my own list, I usually get anywhere from a 25 to 40% answer rate. Not all people have houses for sale, but when I use the lists that I purchase, I find that it drops down to around 10%. So I don't know why, but that's just what it is. I'm not saying the lists are bad. I'm just saying that, you know, they're. I know these lists are good because they're in my city and I make the list myself, you know. So it's a lot better than a computer-generated list that does it all over the country.
Well, if you get it from your own town, they do the list over like every year at some point.
Right.
And if you catch it just after, and they'll tell you like, oh, we're about to redo it and update everything to
Usually
make
October.
it accurate. So if it's next month, just wait a month and get the list. Go someplace else and get a fresh list.
Right.
So you know it's pretty recent and pretty fresh and pretty accurate. Who knows what the other guys are doing? It could be a little bit old or whatever.
Yeah, so most cities do it in October. They redo their taxes in October. Okay. So let me get my computer set back up here so I can find out where I was. Okay, good. All right. So these are pretty much the three strategies I would use right now. Okay, so to kind of wind down here, here's what you should do. This is your blueprint, okay? Pick one. Just pick one. Get it going. Okay? Get it up and running. Oh yeah, by the way, my definition of up and running is what? Getting leads.
Yeah.
Up and running means you're receiving leads. It's working. It's not broken, it's working. So the way I expect you would evaluate it's up and running is you're consistently getting something from it.
You mean doing research doesn't count?
Yeah, if you want to be a researcher, but if you want to be an investor, you got to make offers. Okay? Once you have it going, come back to this podcast and listen to it again. Right? Episode number 202. Listen to it again. And then do the second one.
Yep.
The second strategy that you liked. Okay? Until you have all three of these campaigns up and running each and every week. Then you'll have leads that you can work with every week using the $37 package that I'm talking about, right? With the offer calculator and the letter of intent template and the lease option. I even have the scripts in there on how to talk to people, right? Once you get that going, deals will fall into your lap, because if you could make 1 to 5 offers a day which, by the way, is less than an hour with this offer calculator and these new tools that I have, you could go on to Zillow and find a property and make an offer and then send it off. If you make 1 to 5 offers a day, you will get a deal.
Seriously, somebody's bound to say, what happens is you're going to run to somebody who wants to do something like this. That's all that's going to happen. You're going to hit somebody that's, even if you're, I don't know, not perfect at it or not a genius, just sending these out, somebody will just say yes.
So here's the deal. If you find somebody, you find the low-hanging fruit and someone that's motivated, you don't need to know anything about real estate. And you use my $37 documents, they're done for you. I mean, I'm not even pushing the $37. I'm just saying those documents they're so much worth more than $37, right? You take the offer calculator and the letter of intent, and you send one of those off a day. Hell, you could do one a week, right? It just takes you a little bit longer.
Yeah, it just takes longer,
right? Point is you're making offers, and at the end of the day, right? All sellers want are offers, because they want to see if what you want to do is somewhere close to what they want to do, and they want to see what matches and what doesn't, because they're weeding you out. If you got $200,000, if they're trying to sell for $200,000, you want to wholesale it for $100,000, they're going to weed you out, unless they're really sick motivated or they just don't want the house.
Yeah,
and that's 1 out of 100 or 500 or 1,000, whatever that is. That's a lot of work. They're there, but you got to dig harder. I have a coaching client that makes they get 25,000 names a month. 25,000 names a month, so they can buy 2 or 3 deals a month. Maybe 4 deals.
That's crazy.
It works. He's got VAs. They're on dialers. It works. It's the same way here. If you make enough offers, you will find low-hanging fruit, and you will find a motivated seller, and they will throw the deal at you, and you'll have to just figure out how to put together. And if you buy my $37 package, you don't even have to do that. You'll know how to do it. You'll figure it out. You'll fumble through your first couple deals. You won't lose anything, because you're just going to do a rent to own. All you're going to lose is, if anything, you're going to give them a $10 or a $100 or a $50 deposit, and that's it. That's what you lose. If you don't put any money in the deal, you don't lose anything. Right?
That's right. Basic rule.
Last thing I want to say before we boogie out of here, okay? Once you get this opportunity and you start talking to people, because everything we've been talking about right now has been the opening call. In other words, pre-screening the person to see if they're a seller that will match our needs, our financial situation, okay? Once we get that person, we're going to start talking to them, talking turkey about the house. In other words, once we send them the offer, the 3 offers, and we call them back and say, what do you think? That's what we call the closing call. In other words, we're going to talk about all the numbers and all that kind of stuff. These 4 things have to happen. These 4 things have to happen for any investor to make a deal. If you don't have these 4 things, you aren't making a deal. Okay? They are. You need to know what the price is. You need to know how much the monthly payments are going to be, with all the crap involved, right? Like all the taxes, insurance, HOA fee, all that stuff, right? You need to know how long they're willing to let you make payments, the term or the time, and only if they bring it up the deposit amount. But you need to know those, and you only talk about those one at a time. So you talk about the price. Once you settle on that, you move on to payment. Once you settle on that, you move on to time and term and how long. Okay? Now, like for example, last night we were role playing on the monthly call, and the dude had a $200,000 house. He's like, I'll take $210 if you pay me now. If you pay me in 2 years from now, I'll take $220. Problem was he was getting $2,300 a month for this house for people who rent it from him, which is high, because normally it's $1,900, but he was getting $2,300, right? Because I think he had some doctors in that. I was role playing with the guy that had Frederick, who had this deal, and it was awestruck for the listeners, because what happened is he was like, first of all, you should go. Anyways, I don't know where you're going to find that, because I don't know where that video is right now. So my point is that when I did it, I talked about the profit he was going to get every month, and he was trying to get $1,600, and I wanted to pay $1,500 a month. So what I did is I said to him, because here's what happens. I did the price first, which was $220.
Mm-hmm.
Then I figured out the payment amount. I'm negotiating the payment amount. He wants $1,600. I want to pay $1,500. Right. I said to Frederick, okay, I'll give you $1,600, but I only want to pay $210 instead of the $220. Right? So you could go back like that, but you can use them. And then I moved down. So okay, he said, okay, I'll do that. And then we moved down to the next thing, which was the term. And I said I wanted 5 years. He said he wanted 2 years. I gave him the 2 years with a renewal period of 1 year.
Right.
Okay. Never talked about a deposit. He never brought it up. But here's the point. When you're doing deal structuring, you need to know these 4 things. Or when you're closing a deal, not even deal structuring, these 4 things you need to know. And when you're talking to your seller, if you know these things and you keep them in your mind, then it's a lot easier to negotiate.
Right. It's great how you do, if one number comes out not so hot, you go back to another number and move that up or down. Right. To make the whole deal work. Because, somebody wants something, well, you have to give something back. It's just,
right.
It's just negotiating.
Right. Okay. And you'll always have enough to make an offer, especially if you've gone to flippinghousesforrookies.com, where the pretty girl is. There's a pretty girl right on the page to the left. There's a free course I'm giving that has my 7 offers in there. And you can go in there and see how to do a slot deal, and how to do an option deal, or how to do a lease option or a rent-to-own deal, and how to do a subject to or getting the deed deal, and how to do a rehab retail deal, how to do a wholesale deal, and how to do an owner finance deal. They're all there. You can have them for free. You just got to go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. For very top of the page, there's a pretty girl there to the left. You just put your name and email address in there, and you get the course for free, which is another thing I did for COVID. Right? I wanted to make sure that people could get paychecks, so I went overboard on making sure that our listeners and our people had what they needed to be able to get paychecks. And that's what we did. Okay?
Yes.
So if you're listening to this podcast, I should be doing this in the beginning, not the end. But please, if you felt like this was worth your while, please go leave us a review. If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, just scroll down. The podcast is right there. Right underneath the podcast, you can click leave a review, and it'll bring you right to the page. Or whatever platform you're listening to, just go there and just leave us a review. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel so that when we come on and we add new shows, which we do every week, you'll be able to get those new shows without having to phone blown around. Okay? Anything else, Peter?
No, I think that was really good.
Okay. So the title is 3 Unique and Easy Ways to Collect Paychecks in Real Estate That Realtors Overlook. And I think we definitely covered that.
You got it.
Okay. Thanks for being with us, and we'll talk to you next week. Over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.